Hi guys, so we're at Burrator trying to get some long exposures. Just walking around it at the moment trying to get a few different ideas. Now Steve is currently set up to get this shot. So looking down there, get some long exposures to the flowing water. Ben has just been out there to get some shots. He's got some good iPhone shots already. Now today it is myself, Steve and Ben. Daz didn't reply to the messages, so I think his signal's a little bit dodgy out on the middle of Dartmoor. But we're hoping to catch up with him a little bit later on. But yeah, at the moment it's just a case of scouting out the locations, trying to see what we can find, and we'll go from there. So at the moment Steve has just prepped for his shot. Steve, what's your settings for this shot?
So I'm using a Nikon D5100 with a 8-stop ND grad filter. I've also got my settings on ISO 100 f14 for 3 seconds, and that's the result that I'm getting. So it's freezing the water in the tunnels. The other kit that I'm using today is I have obviously a tripod because that's important for these sort of shots. When you're doing these shots, always put it in auto to get a focus point on what you want. Take it back to manual so it's locked on the focus, and just press your trigger. That'll do its thing. So for the wildlife, in case there's wildlife here, I've got my 7100 put onto my Sigma lens. This will help me get closer to trees, squirrels, anything that I see. If it's still not enough, I'll turn the crop mode on, which gives me even more zoom instead of having a teleconverter on there. So yeah, that's what I'm using today, and also the trusty P30 Pro as my backup because it never lets me down. Phil is in the water, as you can see, modelling the latest green welly boots, and he's ready to go with his shot. So we shall get him and his shot in together if we can. So there you can see Phil and what he's shooting. We also use a Manfrotto tripod. I've got one as well. We find them to be really good, sturdy bits of kit. And instead of a flat disc on the bottom, you've got like a little round bit that you can put on any camera, which is great. So Phil's just repositioning, getting the angle that he wants. There's my equipment for today, using an ND grad filter. You don't have to use them. There are cheap versions out there that you can get which, you know, do a good enough job. You've got the kind that sits on the camera, like I've got the big square, or if Phil turns his camera towards us, he's got the circular one. And what we'll do now is we'll have a quick look at Phil's shots and show you the results. So there we go, we've got the went with something a little bit different there, obviously helping young photographers that are interested in it. So we went for just the one tube first, and then we got both with the frozen water in. And there, as you can see, this one here was taken, let's see if I can get the settings up for you. Where's the info button? There it is. Nope, it's a new camera, I'm not used to this one yet. Oh, it's not showing, but what I can do is I can show you 5 seconds, f14 at ISO 100.
So the other day we did well at this bridge in pretty much pure darkness. So it's different to see it during the day. We're going to try and get some long exposures of the water down here as well. I'm debating getting into it, seeing if I can get any nice close-up shots. It doesn't look like there's an easy way down. Failing that, I might just focus on this tree as foreground and see how it turns out. So we've just gone different directions there. We've got Steve up on the bridge there, and I'm heading down this way to try and get these rapids. Not sure how well it will turn out because it's not as fast flowing as I would have liked. But there's only one way to find out. I'm debating trying to get down there as well. Although, saying that, we'll be better off around about here. So my reason for choosing here is I'm shooting with a really wide angle lens. So by shooting at that wide angle, I'll get the movement of the water there and also the bridging shot as well. May potentially get that section just over there where the water's coming down from the side, depending on how wide I can shoot. If I don't get it, it's not the end of the world, because I have still got this bit as a main focus point. I'm just going to hold fire on this shot a second just because there's people on the bridge. I want it to be a nice clean shot to give you an idea of what it's going to turn out like. That is the composition that I'm looking at currently. Now in regards to settings, I'm going to be using 13 seconds again, aperture f14, ISO 100. The reason being, having that aperture at f14, again, it's going to make everything in focus. 13 seconds is going to give me enough time for the water to show as like ghostly movement, and ISO 100 is going to make it a nice clean image. There's not going to be much noise in it.
Okay, so Phil is just setting up in the river there. There's a really nice shot trying to get, which is the swinging bridges over there with the water coming down. So what we'll see if Phil can do later on. I mean, there's little bits everywhere you look. So Phil's nice and low there. So hopefully we'll get some of that in shot for you. And again, you've got the bridge there. Absolutely beautiful place, you know, I'd highly recommend it to you all. Great if you want to just get out and have a look. So here's Phil, and we'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so just going for, there's the river there. Absolutely fine, nice fast flowing. I want to slow it down. So again, 5 seconds, f14, ISO 100. Fire that, count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there it is. And there's a happy Phil down in the water. Didn't mean to zoom in on his crutch, but I'm new to the gimbal, it's not my fault. So there's Ben, our bodyguard up there, looking after us, helping us spot the shots. Give us a wave. There he is. That's my younger brother, bless him. And there's Phil again, grabbing some random shots. Everywhere you look, there's a different shot. I think we've been in the same area now about 20 minutes. So yeah, I'll walk up there a little bit and see what's there.
Plenty of things to wander around and shoot around here. We've got all the greenery, we've got all the leaves that are on the ground, and with the water as well, there's plenty of opportunity for long exposures. It's just trying to find different foreground shots to make the shot stand out a little bit. Now at the moment, Steve really spins around. That's what Steve's shooting currently. So he's in the water at the moment. See if we can get him back in. I'm also doing that, if we flip the camera around even more, we have got Ben is in the background there. So Ben's currently using his phone to get some shots. He's got the option to use Steve's Nikon as well, but at the moment he's getting some amazing results with his iPhone, so why fix something that's not broken? He's getting some incredible shots. He's got some branches looking at the trees, getting some different angles. One of the joys of mobile photography is you're not tied into big, bulky, heavy equipment. So it's allowing them to be really flexible, getting close and get some really unique shots. Hi guys, so you've seen the pictures of whilst we've been out in the field and seen them on the back of the camera. What I'm going to do now is just very quickly show you the editing process that I follow. So first of all, I'm going to start with one that I really like. So we'll start with probably this one here. Now the reason why I'm going for this one is I like the fact it's landscape, so I can show you one of my presets really quickly. And also I like the fact that it's got the water and a bit of foreground interest in it as well. So I just quickly go down to one of the presets that I've created, because there's quite a lot of other ones from other people in here as well. So this is one of my sunset presets. So just by hovering over that and then clicking it, most of the heavy lifting is done for me. I've also created another one just below, which is a slightly warmer version of it, which I quite like. Now the important thing to think of when it comes to presets is that they are a starting point. So say for example I went for this one, I could then use the adjustment brush and apply like local adjustments that are more relevant to this picture, that aren't going to be more uniform across the board. So for example, I'd quite like to lighten up that bridge a little bit and get a little bit more detail in there as well. Just by doing that, you can apply the adjustment just to that area. Now what they have done in Lightroom as well in the most recent update is they've got a range mask, so you can apply it to a certain amount of colours within that selected area. So say for example, as you look through the bridge, there is a light section around here which we don't necessarily want to be affected by it. So if you click luminance mask and then show luminance mask, you can adjust what is affected using these sliders. So the red area shows everything that is going to be affected, and you can filter it by only light areas or only dark areas depending on what you want to be affected by it. Now in this instance it's actually turned out pretty good. It's done a good job anyway. Yeah, there we go. So that's looking pretty good. So now we'll turn off the luminance mask just to see, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So then you can click on done. Now something I always do in my editing is, for some reason I always do noise reduction between 25 and 30. There's no particular reason other than it just seems to work for me. you may find that it's not the case for you. It may be different for yourself. But just quickly do a full screen preview, see how it's looking. I'm quite happy with that. It's got a nice amount of detail in there. One thing I might do on it is bring the vibrance up a little bit. Possibly even the exposure as well, actually. So, right, vibrance is up enough already. Let's see if there's another way that we can do it. Right, so yeah, let's bring up the exposure a tiny bit. Contrast. Yeah, let's give a little bit more contrast. Don't want to overdo it too much. So probably about there. Dehaze. Now that was built into the preset. So just see what it looks like without dehaze, and then we'll add it back in afterwards and compare the two. So yeah, it's giving it quite a bit more contrast in it. I quite like that actually. So we'll probably leave that around about 38. It seems to be quite a nice spot for this image. Now what I might also do is just quickly add in a little bit of exposure into these white areas just to make them stand out a little bit more. So we'll do shadows, we don't want to be affected, we don't want that affected, or that. So just areas where you want to stand out just a little bit more. So it's quite a nice little foreground element. Quite like these bits as well. So we'll use that one as just a quick edit, just to show you my kind of process for it. You can go into a lot more detail. You get a lot of people who will pixel peep. I'm not a big fan of pixel peeping. Basically, the idea behind that is you zoom in, have a good look, you zoom in around all kind of areas to make sure that everything's all right. Because I'm not selling the prints and it's just for hobbyists, for my own use, I don't really bother with that. If I'm happy with an image as it looks and it's good enough for Facebook, then that's absolutely fine by me. So what we're going to do now is post some of the other pictures that we have taken throughout the day.